Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Development Standards Committee held here in Forfar, Tuesday the 17th of October 2023. Can I remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded, but it's also being broadcast live on the Angus Council YouTube channel. And can I remind all those joining us remotely today to turn their microphones to mute unless they wish to speak, and they should do so by raising their hands remotely. The apologies for absence, Sarah, please.
Yes, Convener. Apologies from Councillors Duff and Melville.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest from remotely or around the room? I will just, for the clarity, provide a statement of transparency from my own point of view. I was a member of the EY receivership team who traded Letham Grange Enterprises Limited during its period of receivership in the early 1990s. I was not, however, involved in the sale of the company or the property company to the current owners. I will therefore remain in the Chamber and take part during any discussion on Agenda Item 7. Agenda Item 3, if there are no other declarations, no. Building warrants. The committee is asked to note that during the period the 2nd September 2023 to the 6th of October 2023, a total of 42 building warrants and 17 amendment to warrants have been approved with an estimated cost of £10,037,536. A copy of these approved warrants have been sent to all members. Is this noted? Thank you. Delegated decisions. Agenda Item 4, the committee is asked to note that during the period 2nd of September 2023 to the 6th of October 2023, a total of 61 applications have been approved and 3 refused under the Planning Acts through the scheme of delegation to officers. Again, a copy of the lists of delegated applications have been sent to every member. Is this noted also? Thank you. Agenda Item 5 is the minute of our previous meeting, and we submit for approval, for as a correct record, the minute of meeting of this committee held on the 12th of September. Are there any comments or adjustments considered necessary? If not, are the minutes approved? Thank you. We have no planning applications to consider this morning. However, with 3 proposal of planning application notices to consider today, all centred around Arbroath and the surrounding area. Before that, however, we have Agenda Item 6 to consider, which is Report 271/23, which seeks approval to form a short-life member officer working group to review the statutory scheme of delegation required by virtue of Section 43A of the Town and Country Planning Scotland Act 1997, and to appoint 5 elected members to this group. Now, in the absence of Joe Patterson, I wonder if Mr Hunter would like to give a very brief introduction to this report.
Yes, thank you, Convener. As the report indicates, we are required to have a scheme of delegation under the Planning Acts to allow for the determination of local planning applications. Our current scheme of delegation has been in place since 2019. It's required to be reviewed at intervals of no greater than 5 years. So we consider now as an appropriate time for the scheme to be reviewed. Our current scheme focuses on 3 key areas. One is ensuring that applications that give rise to major policy issues are considered by committee. Second strand is that applications that give rise to matters of significant public interest, where officers are inclined to approve an application, should be considered by committee. And the third strand of it relates to applications that merit greater scrutiny. So that's applications submitted by the council where there's any level of objection at all, or applications that are submitted by senior officers within the planning service. Our scheme of delegation prevents those from being determined by officers to ensure that there is appropriate scrutiny by the committee. The government's intention is that the vast majority of applications should be determined by officers under delegated powers. That means any subsequent appeal goes to the Council's local review body, in our case the Development Management Review Committee, and that's to ensure that there is local decision making. Applications that are not delegated, that are determined by committee, have an appeal right to Scottish ministers. So that's the big difference between the two routes. But very much the government's focus is on ensuring that committee deals with those matters that are most complex, merit the most scrutiny, and for the vast majority of cases to ensure that decisions are made locally. But it is now time for our scheme to be reviewed. I think it's worked reasonably well over the period since its adoption, but it is right that we review it. We're required to do so by the Planning Act, and we think that the short life member group is the best way to facilitate that. Thank you, Convener.
Thanks, Alan. Do members have any questions for Mr Hunter in respect to this report? Any comments on it at the moment? No. Okay, in that case, I'd like to move that this committee, 1, establishes a short life member officer working group to review the aforementioned current scheme of delegation and to consider...
Convener, Councillor Dorn's got her hand up.
Oh, apologies, Councillor Dorn.
No worries. Sorry, it was a bit slow getting the hand up. Just wanted to clarify on the working group. There is no space here for a non-aligned member. Usually on these kinds of groups, there is a space. So just wanted to clarify on that, if there would be space for a non-aligned member.
We discussed this at pre-agenda on this, Councillor Dorn, but Sarah, do you want to just make mention here?
Yes, that's okay. Yes, Councillor Don, it's just in terms of the numbers. So as you're aware, member officer groups can range in the terms of numbers. The recommendation here is 5. Working it out in terms of political balance, that means that the non-aligned would not be entitled to a place. It's custom and practice that members have been appointed in terms of political balance. That's not to say that you couldn't get a place depending on what happens in terms of the nominations, or if members would be minded to increase the membership of the MOG to 6 members. However, the recommendation here is 5 at the moment, and it would be a matter for the committee to decide whether to increase that membership to allow a further place to the non-aligned member.
Can I ask Councillor Dorn, do you feel strongly you'd like to be on this committee, on this short life working group? It's literally going to be 1 or 2 meetings, I imagine.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the position around this one. As previously we have extended it to include that. I also wanted to note that obviously then the report is coming back for approval, so the group is not going to approve anything. So on this case, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Great, Councillor, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
If there are no other points, I'll just move on to move, I say, 1, that we establish the short life member officer working group to review the aforementioned current scheme of delegation and to consider whether any changes are required to improve efficiency and effectiveness in determining relevant planning applications. 2, after consulting elected members from the administration and leader of the non-administration, I suggest the membership of the said member officer working group will be myself as convener, Councillor Durno in her capacity as vice convener, and Councillors Beattie, Gall and McLaren. And 3, this committee instructs the service leader of planning and sustainable growth to report back in the first instance to this committee on the conclusion of the MOG and onward to full council for approval of the scheme of delegation. So I'm moving this motion. Would anyone care to second it? Councillor McLaren, thank you very much. So if that's all agreed? Thank you. Right, our first notice of planning application, proposal of application notice on agenda item 7. It's been submitted in respect of a major development comprising the installation of 49.9 megawatt battery energy storage on land northeast of Bridge of Dun substation at Balwillow, Montrose. Am I right? Have I got the right one here? Balwillow, I'm sorry, Montrose. For Renewable Energy Systems Limited. Committee is invited to identify issues which we would like to see addressed in any planning application that is subsequently submitted. I think, Steph, are you going to pop 1 or 2 slides up on here?
Yes, I'll cover all 3 of the plans for you today. Thank you, convener. So it's item 7, just for a wee bit of clarity. It's the proposal of application notice at Letham Grange.
Just for clarity, my handwritten notes that I've done have made a mistake on that. We are talking about Lethem Grange here, not the previous item which was on the previous meeting. Apologies for that. So we've got talking about Lethem Grange. Steph, over to you. I think I need to take a pill. Thank you.
Thank you, Convener. So yeah, item 7 is the proposal of application notice at Lethem Grange. The proposal of application notice indicates that the development may include a hotel and spa, holiday accommodation, reconfiguration of golf courses, golf clubhouse, restaurant, leisure uses, residential development, business enterprise, retail, community facility and spaces, and biodiversity enhancement and other associated development. So as you can see, oh, my screen is in front of your screen. Have I stalled? Just, yeah, it's stuck. I'll just stop sharing and I'll try sharing again. There we go, that's the right slide. So as you'll see in front of you here, it's the red line application, application site for the proposal of application notice. There's no detail in this at the moment, which is fine for this type of notification. This here, it shows that the red line application site follows the development boundary for Lethem Grange. Lethem Grange has its own development strategy, which is LG1 in the local plan. So, like I said, there's limited detail being submitted at this stage. There's no indication of house numbers or any details of the development that may come forward. The developer has, however, indicated that as part of their consultation activity that they will undertake 2 public exhibitions, one of which has already taken place on the 3rd of October. And this last slide here just gives you an aerial imagery of the site. As you can see, the listed building, category B listed, is in the centre of the Lethem Grange development. And you can see the kind of main road to Arbroath on the left-hand side here that goes through Colliston. So all the matters that officers have considered to be key and relevant to the determination of any subsequent future planning application have been highlighted in paragraph 3.8 of the report. So members are welcome to identify any further issues they may wish to consider.
Great, thanks, Steph. Have any members got any questions of the officer at this stage? Nope. Okay. As I say, paragraph 3.8 provides quite an extensive list of the key considerations suggested by council officers to be considered when considering any future planning application. And if there are no other points being raised by members, in the report requests that elected members note the key issues here. Is that noted? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 8 refers to another planning proposal application notice, this time at land at Arbroath. This is submitted on behalf of Scotia Homes for a major development comprising a residential development of 150 odd houses, garages and associated infrastructure, open space and landscaping on land at Coody Farm or Burlet Road. And again, committee is invited to identify issues which it would like to see addressed in any planning application subsequently submitted. Again, are there any slides on this one?
Yep, they seem to stuck again.
Maybe just come out of the and go in again.
There we go, they should be up now. So thanks again, convener. This is item 8, another proposal of application notice, this time for a residential development for 150 houses at land at Coody Farm. This slide in front of you here shows again the application site outlined in red. We've got our Burlet Road West to the east of the drawing here, and we've got the B9127 to the north, and Arbroath to the east and south. This slide here shows an extract of the Arbroath proposals map from the local development plan. As you can see, the application site is located in allocated housing site A2. there's been a previous application approved in the southeast corner of this site for 147 houses on 6.17 hectares of the wider site. That was in October last year. So the A2 application site Policy A2 identifies 5 hectares of land at Crudy Farm for residential development of around 120 dwellings. The LDP also safeguards additional land for further housing on the period beyond 2026. So as I stated previously, we have had a previous application approved on this site, and this proposal is for an additional 150 homes. And we don't have any detail of the proposed layout or anything at the moment. But again, this slide in front of you here, it shows the application site. I've roughly outlined it in blue. The previously approved development is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And in this instance, all the key matters identified for consideration by officers are listed in paragraph 3.6 of the report before members, and members are welcome to identify any further their considerations or matters they wish to see discussed as part of this potential application. David?
Thanks, Steph. Again, any questions for the officer? Councillor Dundle.
Yeah, I would just like the planner to take in consideration when they're doing the plans to make provision for a play park for the area, because the next play park from that area, it would mean crossing a busy road, and I think it would be ideal if they could look at play facilities for that area to save the children having to go out with the housing scheme. So that's the only thing I've got at the moment. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Dundle. Councillor Doran?
Thank you. I would also like to see that. My comment was just to note that I see that the looking at the health capacity locally is already on the list, which is great, but also urge the developers to do a really good quality engagement with local people about any proposals that they're putting forward. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Doran. I don't see other hands up. No. In that case, as I say, paragraph 3.6 lists the key considerations suggested by council officers to be considered when considering any future planning application at the site. So can I just ask, are these noted? Noted, thank you very much. Okay, the last proposal application notice this morning is for land 400 metres north of Bankhead at Burlet in Arbroath. And this is submitted on behalf of Ecocell Energy Storage Limited for a major development involving a battery energy storage system with a capacity of 49.9 megawatts, storage containers, control building, transformers, fencing, CCTV, landscaping, associated works at north of Bankhead, Arbroath. Again, committee is invited to identify issues which we would like to see addressed in a planning application that is subsequently submitted. Move on to slide to this one.
Thank you again, Convener. So, yeah, item 9, the last pan of the day, battery energy storage system with capacity of 49.9 megawatts at land 400 metre north of Bankhead, Burlet, Arbroath. This slide in front of you here, the application site is outlined in red. The blue line indicates additional land or adjoining land that's within the same ownership. Again, limited details submitted as part of this proposal. It's roughly around 5 hectares of land. The applicant has indicated that they would undertake public consultation events in accordance with policies. And this slide in front of you here, it gives you an indication of the relationship of the application site in relation to Arbroath, which is indicated by the thick black line here, the development boundary of Arbroath on the right-hand side of the screen, and its Woodville is to the northeast here. This slide indicates an aerial imagery of the site, with again the site roughly indicated by this red marker here. As you can see, it's surrounded by agricultural land, and Arbroath again on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. The key considerations that officers I've identified or listed in paragraph 3.4 of the report. As you'll note, there is indication of further consideration of fire risk, as that's previously been highlighted by members, so that has been included in the list. But if there's any additional matters that members wish to raise, they're welcome to do so.
Okay, thanks, Steph. We've had a number of these before and been asked to provide issues that are important to us. Are there any matters that members wish to raise? Councillor Brace?
Well, just a comment, really, Convener. I'm glad to see fire risk included in the considerations at 3.4 in this one, because, as you say, we have quite a few of these coming forward to us for battery storage, and it is something that members of the public have raised concerns about, so glad to see that in there. I have nothing else that I would add. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Echo that what you just said. Any other questions or comments? No. I say, well, paragraph 3 lists the main considerations suggested by council officers. So are these noted? Great. Thank you very much. That is it for today. A very brief meeting. That's what happens when you have proposal application notices rather than planning applications. But thanks for your time, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, can you stop the live stream, please?